welcome to JBS Craft Corner. My name is Stephanie. I'm an educator with the John Becker Sands Wetland Center, and for this video, we've been learning how to press wildflowers using two different methods. In addition, we'll be using those pressed flowers to create works of art that you guys can display in your own homes. Now, a list of materials and the instructions will be posted in the description below. Now, let's get started. First, let's go over the materials for this activity. The very first thing that you're going to need is some wildflower clippings. Now, while you go out and collect these wildflowers from your local parks, please observe any and all rules and regulations that might be posted by your local park. In addition to these wildflowers, we're going to need some heavy books, we're going to need some parchment paper, we're going to need some construction paper, as well as some cardboard, and then you're also going to need a picture frame, some colored cardstock of your choice, some white glue, some scissors, and finally a thin paintbrush. Now that we have all the materials together, let's go ahead and get started by pressing these wildflowers. Now, this first method of pressing is the traditional method of pressing. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take your cardboard and you want to cut this down to the size of the heavy books that you're going to be using to press these flowers. Once you get these down to size, we can go ahead and start preparing our flowers for pressing. Now what you want to do with these flowers, you notice that on these stems they've got all this extra foliage. We want to trim all of that extra foliage off of the flowers themselves. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling that off. And then your flowers should look like that before you start to press it. I'm going to go ahead and continue this with the rest of my flowers. Alright, so now that all of our flowers have been trimmed of the excess foliage, we can go ahead and start placing these flowers on the construction paper, which will be on top of our cardboard, and preparing them for pressing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take my cardboard. I'm going to lay my cardboard out flat on the front. I'm going to take a piece of construction paper. This construction paper is going to act to absorb all of the excess moisture from the flowers. And then we're going to start with our Indian paintbrush, which are these flowers. We're going to start laying them down how we want them to lay down. Alright. Okay, so now that our Indian paintbrush has been laid down, I want to leave plenty of space in between, that way the flowers don't touch. I'm going to take another piece of construction paper and place that right on top, give it a little bit of a press, make sure everything's flattened. And then we're going to continue this process for the rest of the flowers. Alright? Now, some of these other flowers that you're looking at here, like the primrose, you can go ahead and just take the entire stems off and just press the flower heads themselves. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to trim the stem off. And then what I'm going to do to press these is that I'm actually going to open the petals up and press it flat with their petals wide open, like so. Alright, so you're going to take your primrose, you're going to put it upside down, you're going to arrange the petals, kind of spread them out a bit. And again, you can press these flowers to your preference, you can arrange them however you like. Alright, so there's one primrose. And there's a second primrose. Now that my primrose have been laid flat, the petals are spread out, I'm going to go ahead and take another piece of construction paper and place it right on top. And give it a nice press, make sure it's nice and flat. Alright. Okay. Here I've got these little yellow flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and press these yellow flowers just as it is. Alright. So I'm going to lay that down. We're going to lay that one down. We're going to lay that one down, and we're going to lay that one down. Again, put another piece of construction paper right on top. Press. Alright. Now, I believe these are dandelions. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the primrose. I'm going to chop them down to the flower heads themselves and spread the petals out. That way we can see the flower. Alright. So again, you're going to press your flower face down. I want to spread those petals out nice and wide. Alright. And I think this one I'm going to leave just like so. I'm not going to spread the petals out, but I'm just going to leave it as is. Alright. Put another piece of construction paper on top of that. Give it a nice press. Then we're going to take our final piece of cardboard. We're going to put it right on top. And now our press here is going to need some weight so that all the moisture can escape out from the flower. So we're going to use these big heavy textbooks. We're going to put it right on top to add some weight. Alright. Okay, and then we're going to let these flowers sit and press for at least 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you can go ahead and check on the flowers to check the doneness. And you want to see if the flowers are dry and firm to the touch. Alright, so we're going to leave this for 2 weeks. Alright, now for the second method, if you are unwilling to wait the 2+ extra weeks that it might take to actually press the flowers in the traditional method, what you can do to speed up the process is 1, follow everything from the traditional method and let the flowers press for at least 1 to 2 hours. That way the flowers can become nice and flat. And then afterwards, you can go ahead and transfer them onto an ironing board, and we can use an iron to continue that drying process. So here I have my flowers. They've currently been pressing for about 1 to 2 hours. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to transfer this to the ironing board so that we can continue to dry these. So let's go ahead and move these books off and see how well the flowers have turned out. Alright, move your cardboard. Alright. Alright, so some of the flowers are getting nice and flat. And we're just going to transfer these to a piece of parchment paper. Alright. Now, the only exception is if you have any kind of delicate flowers, like these primrose, a wine cup is another delicate flower, the ones that have very thin petals, I would not recommend doing the ironing method for these particular flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and put the primrose back into the press and let those continue to press traditionally for the 2+ weeks. Alright. Alright, and we're going to move off the paintbrush. Put my primrose back into the press. And now we're going to move over to our ironing board. Okay, now here we are at our ironing board. I've got my iron preheating to the lowest setting. And if your iron has a water reservoir, you need to empty that water, and we don't want to have to add any extra moisture to our flowers as they dry out. So empty the water and turn it on to the lowest setting. Now for the parchment paper, you're going to need 2 pieces of parchment, 1 for the bottom, 1 for the top. And we're going to start pressing our paintbrush over here, our Indian paintbrush. So I'm going to take my Indian paintbrush. I'm going to start one at a time. I'm going to put the Indian paintbrush onto the parchment. Lay the parchment on top of that, so now it's sandwiched between 2 sheets of parchment. And then I'm going to take my iron and I want to start to press that. Alright, so we're going to take the iron and I'm just going to press it on the flower, and I'm going to leave it there for 10 seconds. Now you don't want to move the iron as if you're ironing clothes. Alright, so just leave it there and press for 10 seconds. Alright, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then remove it, let it cool for the next 10 seconds. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're going to repeat this process until your flowers are nice and dry. Alright, let's go ahead and repeat that. Alright, and let it cool. And then just check on your flowers periodically just to make sure they don't burn. Alright, I'm going to remove the top piece of parchment and check on my flower. Alright, so far it's not burning, but now you can tell it's really flattened out very well. It is a little floppy, so we do need to make sure that this is nice and firm after it's dried completely. Alright. So I'm going to continue that process with the rest of the flowers here. So now that your flowers are done pressing, you want to carefully remove those flowers from the press with very gentle fingers or using a tweezer. Here I have all of my flowers that have already been pressing for the last 2 weeks using the traditional method, as well as some of them that I've used with the quick and speedy iron method. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take those flower pressings and we're going to arrange them into a work of art. Now, using your picture frame and your piece of colored cardstock, you want to cut this down to be the size so that it fits inside your picture frame, right? So once you have that cut down to size, we can go ahead and we can start arranging our pressed flowers the way we want, alright? So I'm going to do this in a portrait mode, so it's going to be long ways up, and I'm going to arrange my flowers the way I like it. So here I got a mixture of wildflowers, I also have some foliage in there as well, alright? So I'm going to take this. Alright, so now I think I've got everything arranged the way I want. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue this down onto the construction paper. So the best thing to use is just plain old Elmer's white glue. I'm going to use a very thin paintbrush to dab small dots of glue onto your flowers, which will then press onto the construction paper. Alright, so now that I have the visualization, I can see where everything is going to go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take some of these large pieces off. And I'm going to start pressing down the foliage. Alright, so taking a thin paintbrush, you're going to get a little small dab of glue, and you're going to brush some glue onto the back stems of your flower and or foliage, whatever it is that you have. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and start pressing that down. Alright, I'm going to continue with the next one. Alright, I'm going to take these larger pieces of batch. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And if you have wide petal surfaces to work with, you can go ahead and glue on the back side of the petals as well. Alright, so now that I have my arrangement glued down, if you notice any of the stems are popping out, you can go ahead and put a heavy brick on top. That way everything kind of presses down even flatter. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to let the glue dry completely before we put it inside our picture frame. Alright, so now that our glue has dried, we have our beautiful pressed flower arrangement on our cardstock, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in the actual picture frame itself. I'm going to take my picture frame, we're just going to remove the back of it. Make sure you remove all those clips. And then we're going to press this into our frame, into place. Alright. I'm making sure it's still right there because that's the bottom. I'm going to put our back onto the picture frame. Go ahead and close all of those snaps. And voila! You have a beautiful piece of art that you guys can go ahead and display at home, hang it up on your wall, do whatever you want. You can even send this as a Mother's Day gift or a birthday gift for anybody who has a birthday coming up too. And that is it. Thank you for watching.